Good morning, guys. I am excited to introduce you to a USA author today. She goes under the pen name L.M. Glenn, and I'm super excited to talk to her today. This is her first online virtual interview, and I'm super excited to always be the first to interview people, hoping that it gives them a taste for it and they want to continue doing it. But she's an amazing author. Her best-selling book, Shelby, has definitely grabbed my attention. It's got some really strong and interesting themes when it comes to kidnapping. It's based on a 13-year-old who finds out that she was kidnapped by the man that's raised her, and she goes through the USA trying to find a biological mother while still being chased by this man. So I'm really intrigued to ask her about that particular book and what gave her inspiration for it. And she's tried multiple genres, and I just want to know what's her favourite, why, and just to find out who she is a little bit more. So without further ado, let's go meet Lisa. First of all, thank you for joining me.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
So my first question, because I've never been to where you live, what's it like to live in Crestview, Florida?
What's it like to live in Crestview? Is Mother Nature has lost her mind. Here, one day it's sunny, the next day it's raining. Or one morning it'll be, let's say 90 degrees and the sun will be shining. The next hour it's going to be 60 degrees and pouring down rain.
And it's like that all the time?
You have your good days and your bad days. Not all the time. A lot of time, it's sunny, of course, here. But a lot of times, you just never know what the weather is going to bring.
And have you always lived in Florida?
Since 99.
Where were you before that?
In the West, I lived in Wyoming, Montana.
Very different, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. From snow to no snow.
Oh, do you miss it?
Yes, I miss the mountains.
So I'm always curious as to why I think every author, when they decide to start publishing, has to make the decision whether they want to use a pen name or not. You chose to use a pen name. I would like to know why.
Well, actually, it's not really a pen name.
Okay.
It is my maiden name.
Okay.
And I do plan on in the future going back to my maiden name. So that's why I choose that for that reason. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So that's a lot more simpler actually than I thought it would be.
Yeah, so I don't have to, change my everything up when I do change my last name.
So what gave you the inspiration to write your first book, Born of an Angel, and you published that in 2014. So what gave you the inspiration, and how did your family and friends, what did they say when you told them you were going to become an author?
Well, the inspiration, I've always wanted to write, and I'm an avid reader. I just didn't ever think I would be able to do it. And I was reading this book that I, really liked. I found out that it was actually published. It was an indie author, and they had actually published themselves. And so I was like, how did you do that? I want to do that. And so it just kind of went from there. I got the information off the back of her book and went on to, research and ended up writing my own. When I told my family at first, I don't think they quite believed me. But then when it actually happened, they were like, wow, that's pretty cool,
Amazing. Did you do anything special for the release or?
No, I'm not really sending it out or anything like that. I'm kind of just low key. So I really don't do any big release stuff.
Did you do anything to celebrate though for yourself?
I screamed and yelled, and when it ran across to my neighbors and was like, look, but that was basically it.
But that's amazing. It's such an accomplishment. How long did it take you to write?
Well, that one didn't take very long because I was nonstop sitting and, I was so excited that it didn't take long at all. Some of my other books take a long time because I think I'm trying to be a little better every day and trying to improve. So I keep telling myself, hey, this sentence isn't good enough. I'm going to have to rewrite this. And I just keep rewriting it. Half the time I just end up making it worse.
I think the more seasoned you become in the industry, you're more harsh on yourself, because when you go into it in your first book, you really don't know what to expect. So you go in all high spirit with all the optimism in the world. And then by the time you get to, book 5, book 10 or whatever it may be, you're like, now we've got to be critical on this. This didn't work in the last book. This is wrong. This is wrong. And we just pick ourselves apart.
Yep, that's it.
So you're a busy woman. You have a big family. You work part-time as a writer and full-time as well. So I'm curious as to what do you do full-time, and also how do you balance it? How do you do work-life balance?
Well, I work for a warranty company. And so I'm a case manager, and I work until 7 o'clock at night. So it's really hard for me to write at nighttime because I'm tired, drugged out. So usually it's early in the morning when it's real quiet, everybody's still asleep, or it's on the weekends is the only time I really get to write.
And how do you, and you found that's your balance there, like you're still, because I know so many authors struggle with finding that sweet spot where they can balance it all. So I guess getting up in the morning and just having that quiet time is actually a good idea. I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, you drink your coffee and it's quiet and the sun is just coming up. Perfect time.
You're a shy person by nature. How did you find, with writing, did you find that it helped you express yourself a lot more? Like, has it made you a lot more confident and just brought you out more of your shell?
I don't see that because I'm still, when you're writing, you're still the only person around, I guess you could say. So I don't know if it did. That's really a tough question because I'm still really shy as far as I went to a big book signing event and I really was shy still and had trouble discussing my book with people. I'm good if it's one-on-one, but if it's more than that, I do have a problem with it.
It's quite difficult though, especially at book signings, because it's very overwhelming, especially if it was your first one. Do you plan on, obviously not probably in the next 6 months, but do you plan on doing more signings and conventions?
Maybe in a couple of years. I'm in the process of trying to get some stuff, together, and I want to be confident in myself first before I do a book signing. So I'm giving myself a couple more years before I'm confident enough to be able to do that.
I love that though. So you're going to work on yourself before you. That's amazing.
Yes.
So I want to discuss your bestseller, Shelby. That one really grabbed my attention. So you have so many elements in this one book. You have a 13-year-old who, first of all, her mother dies, or should I say she was murdered, wasn't she, I believe? And then she finds out that her father actually kidnapped her when she was 2 years old. So she runs away from him. He's chasing her. She's going all across the USA trying to find her biological mother. Like, that on its own has so many different things in it. And I wanted to know where you got the inspiration from that.
That book is my favorite, and I love that book, and that's my baby. I mean, seriously, I love it because when I wrote that, it flowed. It just, and I didn't even have an outline. I just wrote, and it came to me. The main character is based on my daughter. Her personality, the way she is. In the book, there is a pet chicken. And my daughter had a pet Russian game hen we called Oreo. And it was black and white and a beautiful thing. And it was a pet to her. So that's where I got kind of the inspiration a little bit from. And at that time that I wrote that, sex trafficking was on the news. Everywhere you looked, you read about it, you heard about it, you kept hearing about these children being kidnapped. And that's why I wrote it. It was just at that time what was going on.
I wondered that because kidnapping is like such a massive thing to tackle, especially when writing. And I love that you've written a young character, a 13-year-old girl who's, really trying to find her biological mother. And obviously the threat is constantly there because the man that had originally kidnapped her is still chasing after her. So I was wondering if at the time there was things that were happening around, like cases that you were just saying, that influenced it, because it's such a powerful message.
I had read a book, and I can't even think of the author right now, but it was a book about a little girl who was tortured in her basement by her mother's friend. I can't remember the whole story about it, but it touched me. It just gave me chills. And so, I thought I'm going to write something like that. And even though I never had been through that experience or have, I wasn't sure if I could even pull it off. I don't advertise it. I'm not good at that anyway. So
is there a reason why you choose, because you're not heavy on social media or anything like that. Is there a particular reason why you choose not to, or it's just you have no interest in that, you're happy you published your books and you don't want to take up the marketing side so much, or is there any reason?
I guess I'm still trying to find myself, still trying to find my writing. I just don't feel confident enough, I guess. Until I do, then maybe I'll push a little bit more, or, and push it out there. But right now I'm just writing to learn.
Okay. So you're waiting until you feel confident and happy with the backlist that you have before you really go hard in it.
Yes, because there's still so much more I need to learn.
I know every author is different, but I just want to say, I'm super proud of you. I know everyone's confidence is different. It took me a long time to build my confidence in it as well, but you should be so proud that you have done what a lot of people haven't achieved. I know you've probably heard this before and people have probably said it, but genuinely what you have achieved is an amazing thing. So I don't think by any means you should be shy about what you're presenting to the world in any way, because it's a massive accomplishment.
Thank you. And my family tells me that, but I'm just like, well, I'm my worst critic,
Yeah. And I guess that's the hardest part sometimes. What do you think would help encourage? I know we're going sidetracked and you don't have to answer any of these questions, but I love empowering people, especially authors, when you have done such an amazing thing. You're telling stories, especially ones like Shelby, ones with very strong messages. So I think it is important that you are confident in your voice. What do you think might raise your confidence? Or were there small things, maybe like certain reviews that gave you that, wow, that really touched me. I am good at what I do. Did you have any of those?
To be honest, of course, getting a bad review is always hard. I really don't pay attention to the bad ones as much. To be honest, everybody's different and everybody has their own things on books. Like I'll love a book and somebody else might not at all. So it's not really that. It's when I read the story and I'm like, that's not too bad. I wrote that and I'm pretty impressed. But then I'm like, well, I could have done it better. I'm just really hard on myself. And I think that until I feel confident in myself, then maybe then I we'll be able to talk more about it. And when people ask me questions about my book, the words just don't come out, the right words. And so I guess that's why.
That's good. At least sort of where you want to start, or the basis. Like you just want to build your self-confidence and then it'll really shine through.
Yes.
Books. That's amazing. Sorry we went off topic. I'm like, you're amazing. You need to know you're amazing. So you've written numerous genres, and I'm curious as to which one's your favorite and why.
I've tried them. It's not really, romance just isn't me. I tried the romance. I blushed when I was writing. I'm serious. Nobody was even around me, and I still blushed. I'm like, I cannot write this. How can I write this? So I knew that was not me. And then when I started writing the YA, the young adult, I felt like I could reach out, I have a teenage daughter at home, and maybe she was my inspiration. Maybe that's why I feel like I can write better for young adult, and she always gives me advice. So I've turned to the young adult now. I'm not going to be writing no more, or trying to write no more, romance, or I tried the paranormal vampire one, and it didn't really click with me either. It just wasn't me. And when I wrote that, it just flowed. And I was like, man, I really like this genre. This is what I want.
I think it's important too for authors to try numerous genres, because they can figure out what they like. I've done multiple genres as well. And some I was like, oh, this is so boring. But then others I'm like, yes, this is the best. So as soon as you find, I think, your genre, and like you said, Shelby just flowed for you. And obviously that's a genre that you like to focus on. You found your click with.
Yes.
What do you think the hardest thing about being an author is? And what do you think the most rewarding part is?
The hardest part would be talking to people about your book. And of course, your critique. I can't say it's not going to really bother me. It does. It makes you like, well, you don't want to write because nobody likes your book. So I think those are maybe the two, is having to talk to people about your book. And then the other one, of course, is hearing the bad stuff, the negative stuff about your book. Those are the two hardest.
And what do you think the most rewarding part is?
The most rewarding is knowing that when I'm not here no more, I'm still here in my stories. and my children are going to be able to see that and feel it and have it in their hand, they're going to be able to pass that down onto their kids. It's never going to go away. That's what is rewarding.
I love that. Leaving your legacy behind one book at a time.
That's right. That's what it is.
So what do you think the one thing is that you wish you could grow further knowledge on in the industry?
Marketing. I don't know anything about it. I mean, you got your Instagram. I've got Instagram, and I have, your Twitter, and I do once in a while will throw my book out there. But as far as the real marketing, I don't have any idea. I've never even looked into it, but I know I'm going to one day. And so that I would like to learn more about. And it can be, I think, just the thought of marketing is very overwhelming because I was actually discussing this with somebody the other day. It's like constantly, what's the term when you're chasing your tail? Because everything's always changing. There's always so many different things that you can do. So when you do decide to start learning on marketing, the one word I can say is just focus on where you want to go, because I made the mistake to try and do everything, and it just doesn't work because there's so much. Like marketing it can be fun, but it also cannot be sometimes. So good luck. Yeah, but you're doing great.
You go. It's a hit and miss sometimes, but trial and error. What was your favorite book to write and why?
Shelby. And like I said before, it was because it just flowed. I didn't struggle with it at all. I mean, I just kept writing. Didn't have no outline. Just the story took a road path by itself.
Did your daughter read Shelby?
Yes.
What did she think?
Oh, she likes it.
Did she know that she was the inspiration for the main character?
Yes, she did.
Was she quite flattered?
Yes. Actually, all my books have my kids in them.
Really?
Some way or some shape or form. Their personality, their names. Yeah.
And so how many children do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
I have 4.
And you have 6 grandchildren as well, don't you? I read
7 now.
Oh, 7. Congratulations. Wow. And are you going to start putting the grandbabies in as well? Yes.
Actually, I think I have one book that does have, I have a book that has the grandkids in it already. Yeah.
Who are the authors that inspire you and why?
When I first started reading, I used to read those Harlequin romance books.
Classic.
That's the first books I started to write. Well, then I read this one book, and to this day, I still remember it. Matter of fact, I still have it. And it was by Joanna Lindsay, and it was called Fires of Winter. And I just loved her writing, the way she wrote the book. I just love it. And it was inspiration. And I wish I could write like that. And I keep reading it over and over, and like her words just, was just wrote it right off the page. It was wonderful. I loved her book. So she was kind of like my inspiration. Still is. I still want to try to write like her. But she's no longer with us anymore. So was she still alive when you started writing? Yes. She just recently passed away. I believe it was like maybe last year. Yeah, she was a great writer. And it was romance. The way she wrote, I just loved it. Okay. Well, you can always convert that into young adult. You'll get there. That's true. Yes. What novel are you working on at the moment? Actually, I'm working on 2. Okay. I'm working on the second book on a series that I've written. The first book, The Wings of Bainbridge. And then I'm actually working with my daughter on a fantasy. It's a young adult fantasy book that right now we're in the outline stage, and it's fantasy fae. Will this be, how old is your daughter, if you don't mind me asking? 16. My youngest is 16. Amazing. And was she the one that was based on Shelby? Yes. I love this. So and this will be obviously the first time that she's writing as well, correct? Yes. She started to write a story. What started this is, she started to write this story. It was a werewolf type, story. And I found it and I read it and I'm like, you know what? You're really good. This is good stuff. And she was like, oh, no, it isn't. I was just writing for fun. Like, this is good. And so I was like, do you want to write a book together? I said, I'd love your ideas and input. And so she finally agreed. And then she told me what kind of book she wanted to write, and I said, well, let's do it. Wow. Keep me posted on how that goes. Because one, it's going to be interesting working with another writer, but also the fact that it's a mother-daughter duo. That's so beautiful. Yeah, and she's got some, we throw ideas back and forth. She's got some pretty good ideas, and it's her age range. So I'm like, this is perfect.
And you can mentor her a little bit into the author world.
I'm trying, but she's a reader. She reads probably a book a day. So she don't like to write. She likes to read though. So I'm kind of like pushing her that direction because she can write.
So what is the goal? What is the dream for you? What are you chasing?
To be honest, the only thing I would like to see, is I would like to see Shelby in a movie. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Just that. I would love to see my characters out on the screen and playing it out, like I have it in my head and say, hey, is that the way I had it in my head when I wrote it? That's what I'd like to see.
See the comparison, how they interpret what you've written and put it on the screen.
Yes.
That scares me. It always scares me because there's going to be elements that they miss, but I think that'd be a really good movie as well because it's such a powerful. Immediately I think of, obviously it's completely different, but the only massive kidnapping movie that's ever stayed with me was The Man on Fire. I think it had Dakota Fanning in it when she was younger, and I think it's Denzel Washington maybe.
I'm trying to think. Wasn't he a guard?
Yeah.
Or a bodyguard?
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen that.
It's completely different concept, but I remember watching that and I had because at the start of it, it was saying the statistics of how many children are kidnapped in America, and it blew my mind. Like, I actually Googled it afterwards. I was like, that can't be right. So I do think that you have a powerful message in that, and I'd love to see it in a movie.
Yeah, it's so bad around here. We hear about it all the time, about kids getting taken, and it really hurts my heart when I hear about stuff like that.
Sorry, I'm just like, that's really sad. Obviously it probably does. It does happen in Australia, but I don't think I hope I'm not being ignorant in this sense. I don't think it's as large scale as America. And it's just sad. Okay. So I have little questions at the end, little random questions. So what's the book that you're anticipating to have released and read this year?
You mean by a different author?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Actually, I just bought this book and I've started reading it. It's by Sarah J. Maas, The Crescent City. So I'm I want to get, waiting for her next one to come out. I want to get all of them because I love her. And so I would say that's what I'm, looking up for right now.
Have you, okay. So is that how it's pronounced, Maas? I always said Sarah J. Maas. Oh, it's the same thing. Different accent, sorry.
Well, you know what? I would think that's what I asked because I was curious about that too. My daughter's actually the one that said it's 2 A's, so it's Moss. I'm like, okay.
Have you read her other series?
Well, I'm starting Crescent City. Let me think. What was her book?
Last of Home?
Yes, I've read those.
All of them?
Yes.
I still haven't read the last one, but I am a avid Sarah J. Maas fan. Like, I love her. She is phenomenal. So as soon as you said Crescent City, I actually bought my paperback copy about 2 weeks ago. I was like, while I'm in isolation, I'm reading this book. We can read it at the same time.
Yeah, I just started it. So I'm really excited to get through it. Now, I've been warned that, the first chapter is a little hard, but just like her, how that she does that and then everything just comes together. I like the way she writes.
I met her once, so this is like my little fangirl moment. She came to a Supernova here, which is like a Comic-Con event. And I was actually signing at the event. So like I didn't really have any time, but then I had one of my readers came up and they can get these tokens. So you can like speed jump the lines. And she said to me, she was like, I'm like, yeah, I really want to like get my book signed by Sarah J. Maas, but I can't. And I did have my sister was sitting with me. So I was, and she said, here, I'll give you this token. You'll go straight to the front of the line. And obviously it's Sarah J. Maas. So there's a massive line. I'm like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, so you're my favorite reader ever in the whole wide world. And my sister like watched my stand and I met her and she was like, it's like 30 seconds. She signs a book and she's like, I really like your outfit and stuff. Really sweet. But I love her. I think she is everything that every author should try and be. She's such a sweetheart. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like fan.
I haven't met any real famous authors ever. Maybe one day I'll get the chance.
What song would best describe you as a person?
Have you ever heard of that song, Meet Virginia by Train?
The name rings a bell. So I'm not good with names. Do you want to sing it? You're like,
no way. No way. I'm not going to sing it. You're just going to have to listen to it.
Okay.
Listen to it when we get off of here, and
Okay.
then you're going to laugh. But that is probably describes me, because it's about someone who's just doesn't follow the rules and is crazy.
What's a country you want to visit to the most and why?
Scotland.
Really?
I want to go there so bad. That actually we're planning on going there in 2 years. When my daughter graduates, we're gonna go up there. But my relatives came from there,
Okay.
and so I just want to go and look around, and yeah, that's my dream, is just go to Scotland one day.
You'll love it. It's so amazing. It's funny because like a lot of people have actually spoken to since being over there, because Scotland's a small country and it's a very alternative country, I want to say as well, because it's not a lot of people you think would say that's where I want to go. And so I lived there for the last year and a half and I've come back, and it's actually surprised me how many people, when I ask, oh, where do you want to go? And they're like, Scotland. I'm just like, really? It's a lot more popular than I thought it was. Like, it's really, but you'll love it. Make sure you do the Highlands.
That's where I want to go, just because of reading books, and they always have that in there,
Oh, I can't wait to see your photos. You'll love it.
I can't wait. Yeah, I'm all excited about it.
What's your favorite color?
Red.
What's your favorite animal?
Well, that's really hard because I love all animals. I've always wanted a monkey. I relate better to dogs, and I'm not a fan of cats. I'm not a cat person at all, but
Their temperament?
I love dogs.
Is it with the cats, is it you don't like their temperament?
No, it's not the temperament. It's the smell. It's the clawing the curtains. We've had a cat before, and it liked to, claw the curtains. And I don't believe in, pulling out claws. I just think that's inhumane. More, that they tear things up. Shred is more like it.
I think cats can be more vindictive. Whereas you won't see a dog really be like, you know what? You've upset me today. Whereas a cat will grab and just like drag while it looks at you, just clawing out the curtain. Whereas the dog won't.
Yep.
The dog will sulk for 20 minutes and then come back and be like, I'm kidding, I'm over it. I love you.
Yeah, and cats will jump out at you. You don't see a dog do that.
No, that's so true. That's all the questions I have. Do you have anything else you want to add, or anything that's upcoming for you?
I'm still writing my second book. It's been going on forever because I just don't ever have the time. You know what I mean? It's maybe an hour in the morning. So I'm still working on that one. And no, not really. I think you're awesome though.
No.
I watch all your shows, and your posts and stuff, and I always keep an eye on you because you're so sweet.
Oh, thank you.
There's a lot of them out there that just aren't too sweet, but you're definitely one of the sweet ones.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Don't get too creeped out by the weird videos that'll probably keep posting through, because as I'm in isolation, I'm getting weirder, I guess. It's I'm like, I know, I'll post this on social media where it can never be deleted. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, I get a kick out of watching them. I scroll through. I'm always on there scrolling through, looking at the videos, and I'm just like, that's so cool. That's neat,
Oh, thank you. I will love you and leave you. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been lovely to meet you, and hopefully one day, whether you're in Australia, I'm in the States, or we're in Scotland at the same time, hopefully we can meet in person.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.